BTS News Today. The night air in Seoul carried a quiet rhythm, the kind that only appears when the city exhales after a long, relentless day. Lights from cafes and riverside restaurants reflected softly on the Han River, and among those reflections, a figure moved with the kind of grace that could never really blend in, even when he tried to. JungKook, BTS's golden magne, walked silently under the muted glow of street lamps, his hood pulled over his dark hair, his steps unhurried. It wasn't an official schedule, not a performance, not even a secret shoot. It was just him, alone, breathing, living. But as fans would later find out, this quiet night wasn't just another evening stroll. There was something deeply human, almost poetic, behind the way he smiled that night. That small, peaceful curve of his lips, captured accidentally by a fan's camera near the riverbank, would later go viral, sparking countless questions, speculations, and whispers across social media. What was he thinking about? Why did that smile feel so different, so warm, so unguarded? For someone who has spent over a decade under the relentless gaze of the world, JungKook's silence often speaks louder than any lyric or interview. That night in Seoul seemed to carry an invisible story, one that began long before the flash of the camera, and one that continues in the quiet corners of his mind. Around 9:47 p.m., witnesses near the Mapo Bridge reported seeing him sitting on a bench by the riverside. He wasn't hiding. No security, no staff, just a black hoodie, jeans, and a small drink in his hand. The city's chill didn't seem to bother him. The way he looked out toward the water felt meditative, like he was searching for something beyond the skyline, beyond the noise of fame. A passerby, who recognized him only after he smiled politely and nodded, described the moment as strangely peaceful. "I thought he looked familiar," she said later on an online forum. But his smile wasn't the stage smile we see in performances. It was softer, almost grateful. Those who know JungKook's journey understand how rare such a moment is. From debuting as a teenager under immense pressure to becoming one of the most recognizable faces in the world, solitude has been both his luxury and his escape. Yet tonight, it didn't seem like he was escaping. It looked like he was returning to himself. Earlier that day, his schedule was reportedly light. No official appearances, no filming. However, insiders revealed that he had spent part of the afternoon in the HYB building, rehearsing quietly with a small team. The studio door was closed, the lights dim, the music looping softly, perhaps a new melody, perhaps just something he was tinkering with. Those who passed by said the rhythm was gentle, but full of emotion. One staff member whispered, "It's not for any upcoming project that we know of. It's just JungKook, being JungKook, creating because he needs to." By evening, when the streets emptied and Seoul's energy began to mellow, JungKook slipped out quietly. Maybe it was instinct, maybe it was habit, but something about that night felt intentional, like a pause he had been craving amid the rush of an unstoppable career. People often talk about how his performances explode with energy, his dances precise, his voice powerful enough to hold thousands in silence. But few talk about what happens after the applause fades, when the lights go out and the echoes of his songs dissolve into still air. That's when JungKook becomes simply John JungKook, the young man who still finds beauty in the quiet hum of the Han River, who still finds warmth in the rhythm of his own breathing. And that night, the smile that the world saw, that warm, subtle smile, seemed to say more than words ever could. When photos began surfacing on social media, armies from all over the world flooded platforms with messages. "He looks so at peace," one fan wrote. "It's like he's finally found a moment for himself." Another added, "That smile, it feels different, like he's letting us know he's okay." The hashtag JungKook's All Night began trending within hours, and even though no official statement was released, the quiet acknowledgement from fans was enough. There was a collective understanding that this was not about a comeback, not about work, not even about fame. It was about life, the kind that's often forgotten in the chaos of celebrity. But the real story, perhaps, was written not in the pictures, but in what came after it around midnight. JungKook uploaded a short Instagram story, just a view of the river, dim lights reflecting on the water, with a single caption, "Good night, Seoul." No filters, no hashtags, no music. Yet within minutes, millions had viewed it. The The simplicity of it struck something deep. It was raw, sincere, untouched, a glimpse into the soul of someone who has learned that peace doesn't come from noise, but from stillness. Sources close to him later hinted that the night might have been a personal anniversary of sorts, a quiet reflection of a promise he made to himself years ago, to always find time to reconnect with who he is beyond the fame. A few fans speculated that the spot he visited was the same one where he used to run in his early trainee days, back when dreams were still uncertain and the future was only a blur of neon lights and ambition. Maybe that's why the smile felt different. Maybe it was nostalgia or gratitude. Maybe it was both. Those who have worked closely with him know how deeply JungKook feels everything. He's known to overthink, to perfect, to push himself until the early morning hours. But he's also the kind of person who finds happiness in small, genuine things, sharing a meal with the members, taking photos of the sky, or sitting quietly by the river. To see him smile like that under the Seoul night is to see him in his most authentic state, unguarded and free. The following day, when reporters asked about the photo during an unrelated press appearance, JungKook simply laughed. His eyes crinkled, his tone soft. "Ah, that night," he said, brushing his hair back with that effortless charm. "It was nothing special, just a quiet night. I needed some air." But even his nothing special carries weight. Because when you live in a world where every move becomes a headline, moments of normalcy become extraordinary. His bandmates, though silent publicly, reportedly messaged him after seeing the viral photo. One insider claimed that Jimin sent a simple text, "You look happy. I'm glad." JungKook's reply was said to be just a small emoji, crescent moon. But those who know the bond between them understand how much emotion can live in such simplicity. As night falls again over Seoul, the story of JungKook's quiet night lingers, like a soft melody echoing through the streets he walked. It reminds people that even the brightest stars need the dark sky to shine. His smile that night wasn't just warmth. It was strength disguised as serenity, a reminder that peace can be found even when the world refuses to slow down. And maybe that's what makes JungKook different. Amid fame, pressure, and expectation, he still finds beauty in the ordinary. He still chooses to walk, to breathe, to smile, even when no one's watching. Weeks may pass, comebacks may come, new songs may rise on charts, but fans will remember that quiet night, that warm smile beneath Seoul's sleepy sky. Because in that moment, JungKook wasn't the global superstar. He was simply a young man who found himself again in the reflection of the Han River, under the forgiving glow of the moon. And perhaps that's the secret behind his smile. It's not performance, not pretense, not perfection. It's peace. A quiet, wordless peace that says, "I'm here. I'm real. I'm okay." Underneath that night sky, Seoul held its breath for him, and he, for once, breathed freely. Just JungKook, and the world finally still.